Good morning, ladies. Karen McCoy here, and welcome to today's coaching call on what is the number one thing we need in order to have a successful and sustainable body transformation as women over 40. So, when I put this out on my social media places, of course, there are a lot of great answers because it's never just one thing. We look at mindset, we look at a proper strategy, we look at high level coaching, we look at accountability, we look at consistency. All of that kind of stuff is super important. Yes, absolutely. But what I find that is a value that women need to create and embrace in order to move into and hold on to a body transformation and all the work that it requires, the commitment is this. They need to have confidence. Okay, so I want to talk confidence because confidence is it something we're born with? Some are, yes. I wasn't lucky that way. I was not born with confidence. I was very insecure, shy person. So I had to build my confidence along the way. So it's interesting when I did a Google search, which is what everybody does, right? We all do these Google searches. And I just wanted to see what Google or AI thought of, or ChatGPT thought of confidence. And there was a lot of great definitions, but what I found was they were definitions. They were textbook stuff. They are what I would expect a book on confidence, for example, to tell you. And I saw it was lacking the human touch, learning through experience, and watching and being with others who are moving through that place, that challenge, what they're trying to attain is always how I've done my learning. Yes, books are great, self-help books are great, all that stuff is great, the podcasts are great, but let's talk the real deal here because it's not just about reading a book. So what I want to do is just throw off what I read and then add in some fairy dust here, some real life stuff that's going to help you understand that absolutely, as a woman over 40, wanting to get that body transformation and have it stick, that's the big deal. And make it a lifestyle that you can work with and enjoy and be proud of. And that's easy and simple. That's what's missing in today's fitness and wellness and weight loss world. I tell you, because so many of you are circling the drain. Round and round and round you go. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. All the Google searches, all of the freebies, all of the YouTube videos, everything. It's not about information. Information is not transformation. And you can't have a physical transformation without an emotional one. And I'm talking obviously the body transformation space, right? So this is where I'm very big as a coach on mindset. So I'm a transformational coach. I'm a mindset coach. And I also have a lot of experience in coaching around training, food, weight loss, metabolism, healthy aging, hormonal balancing, all that stuff. So I get to wear three hats. So I get to wear my nutrition counseling certification, I get to wear my weight training certification, and I get to wear my empowerment coaching certification hat. So all three are woven into the fabric of a plan that I do for women. But let's go back to confidence. Confidence is a muscle like any other muscle that you have to train. So you can't wait for confidence to show up before you embark on change, before you step into a gym, before you make any major changes in your life, even if it's to make more money or to create your own business or to have a better career, have a better relationship, better marriage, find the love of your life, whatever it happens to be. Confidence speaks volumes. The people that I hang with, my mentors, my ecosystem, we'll talk about this at another time. You've got to have your ecosystem of success. The people that I hang with are confident, but they didn't start that way. They started through doing a lot of work, a lot of challenges, a lot of plowing through, a lot of falling away and coming back. So there are internal muscles that we need. And I think these are even way more important in when we're working on a body transformation, because it is those muscles, that value system that you need. We need tenacity, we need discipline, we need commitment, we need vision. Um, We need self-love, patience, and we need courage. And we need confidence to be able to know, I can master this. I can. You can. Anybody can, guys. Anybody can. But we can't sit back on our laurels. We can't read another self-help book and expect it just to move into us at a cellular level. This is where experience trumps science, or trumps reading a self-help book, in order to move into change. So are you born with it? Yes, some people are born with confidence. They came from good family bloodline. They came from ample support and opportunities. Not many of us did. Okay, so that's the majority. The majority have come from a dysfunctional background. But here's the deal: we can't keep blaming the past or the people or the circumstances for where we are now. And this is the change agents. These are the pioneer women that I work with. They are here now saying, whatever happened before, okay, I get it, it's there. We're leaving that story behind. And we're crafting a new story, a new belief system, and a new self-identity. And that self-identity has to be rooted in confidence. How do we get it? The only way out is through. So let's go into it. Okay. So first of all, Dr. Google says set realistic goals. So this is what they say: start with small, achievable goals. When you accomplish them, it boosts your confidence and motivates you to tackle bigger challenges. Okay, I get that. So this is where we do baby steps, cut out the ice cream at night, right? Cut out the going out 3 times for dinner a week and only go out 1 time a week. These are great. But here's the reality of it, guys. I find them too slow, in all honesty, and I don't find them exciting. Yes, we can do those, but we can do those naturally. But what I want my women to do is focus big, okay? Focus on big goals. And it doesn't mean that you can just sit there and go, I am lean, I lose 50 pounds. I am lean, I lose 50 pounds, and it magically happens, okay? What it is you are envisioning, you are using your envisioning skill set in order to see and feel what it feels like and looks like when you're already there. So this is where we start looking at, what do you want? This is what I call the North Star. And this is what I do in my coaching is, what do you want? Okay. And what does that feel like? Because it's not what we want. It's the feeling that it is giving us. I want a Cadillac. Okay. Well, okay, why a Cadillac? Why not a Volkswagen? Well, the Cadillac, to some people say, defines success. I've made it. It is a different feel than a Volkswagen. Okay, so Volkswagen is very, it's very chic. It's very, it's kind of hippie. It's kind of like cool. Whereas a Cadillac speaks different language, but it is the feeling that you're after. So when we're saying in a body transformation, what do you want that to feel like? So I have women envision, and this is hard for some women because they're like, well, but I'm not there yet. So how can I envision it? What? We can envision anything. How do you think we got to where we got to? How do you think we got through college or university? How do you think we built our business? How do you think we had babies, got married? Because we envisioned, I want to be married. You envisioned, I want to have 3 kids or whatever, right? So, but it scares some women to say, well, I'm afraid to envision what I want in case I don't get it. I'm like, if you don't get it, you just change the direction of your sales. That's all. And we'll talk about that in a minute, right? People think it's like a one-shot deal. If I don't make it, I'm a failure and everything falls away. And this is where courage and confidence says, oh no, I'm just going to adjust my sail, because there is no failure. The only failure is when you stop trying. The feedback is what you want. And this is the coaching piece, which is so important. You got to have a qualified coach, guys. Not everybody can coach. That person in the gym that did a show and she looks great, she's not a coach. Okay. She is a trainer and she's a competitor, and coaching is a skill set. It's a certification, and it takes years, and it is moving into where the person is at and shifting her perspective of the world so that she has a higher, brighter, expanded vision and version of herself. And that carries her forward into greater things. So a coach coaches the person, if you see what I mean. I digress. Confidence. Envision the big thing. What do you want? What does that feel like? You wake up every day. How will you feel when you're strong, when you're lean, when your health is returned, when you're proud of your body at 40, 50, 60 plus, right? When you're walking down the street, you can even envision people looking at you going, wow, what's she doing? Right? It's okay. That is the envisioning process. That's got juice, right? That's the joie de vivre. So I prefer to go big. I don't have to, I do the little steps. Sure, I have my women do the little steps when we do it, when we do individualized food plans, individualized training programs. Yes, we massage them along the way. Okay, we're going to look at your carbohydrates. We're going to look at your fats. We're going to look at your protein. Where are you messing up? Okay, Friday night, 9 o'clock. What are we doing? Yes, there's little bits in there, but that's not the juice. The juice is, where's your North Star? Start dreaming. That raises your frequency. And sometimes when you're doing just the little stuff, step by step by step by step, it's slow and there's no real excitement or sunshine in there. It's just step by step. And it feels like habit after habit after habit, which again is not wrong. But I want my women to work from heart. I want them to get excited. This is what we call the inside out approach. Okay. So set big goals. It's okay to dream and feel big. That's number one. Number two, focus on your strengths. Okay, so identify what you're good at, your accomplishments. Okay, that's great. I would even go further. Where is my book? I have to show this to you. Hang on. I got a dog down here that's in my way. I got to show you this. Hang on. So when we talk, focus on, excuse me, dog. I need a smaller dog. Focus on your strengths. Yes, write them down. Okay. So I have something, I don't know if I can say this because I might get thrown off of YouTube, but okay. So it's just stuff that I'm thankful for. And in these pages, I write down all the stuff that I've gone through, all the stuff that I've overcome, all the challenges, everything that makes me me, right? And when you do that, you look at it and you go, holy crap, who am I not to be successful? So we all have challenges and stress that we've moved through, every single one of us. But sometimes we forget about all of those. But what we want to do is we want to bring them forward so that we can look at everything that we've attained and how strong we are. And I don't want you looking at them so that you're blaming or making an excuse by going over these stories. Well, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. We all have stuff that happened to us, guys. And we don't want the story to start living us, right? But we do want to claim the strength and confidence that we got from going through all of that. Because all you guys, everybody, all you guys watching this video, and all the women I work with have all overcome stuff. Even if you think it's little, it's big because it's changing who you are on the inside, right? We're supposed to change. A lot of people don't like change. It's another big hurdle to overcome. So focus on your strengths, write it down, and go back over it. Every day I go in there and I'll add in some more stuff. I was on a call and somebody, what was it? Somebody a while ago called me a snake oil salesman. Is that what they call it? And I'm like, oh, wow, I haven't heard that one in like 30 years. And they were accusing me of I can't even remember what they're, and they hung up on me. So the success was I didn't hang on to it. I didn't buy their bullshit. I didn't go, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not suitable for this. No, not at all. I went, thank you, universe, for letting me see somebody who I won't be working with, right? Like I won't be working with her. I would never invite her in because obviously we weren't a fit, right? So it's really important that you can see success in everyday stuff. Success when you get cut off in traffic and you don't react. Okay. I used to be the bad one and flip the bird all the time. Well, all I'm doing is putting out the same energy that's coming in. So I'm not doing anything better. I am meeting them where they're at in the same lower energy of anger, frustration, all that stuff. And again, energy and emotional frequencies are really important. And that's a big piece of what I teach guys, and how we transcend them, not tolerate them, not stuff them away, because they will come back. So it's really important that we focus on and write down our strengths, what we've overcome, and visit that list. That's number 2. Number 3, challenge negative thoughts. Well, that's an obvious one, right? Thank you, Dr. Google, for being so profound. Learn to recognize and challenge self-limiting beliefs or negative thoughts. Okay, right. So what does that mean? You can't just say, I'm not going to think that thought. Okay, I'm not going to think about a pink elephant. Now you're going to be thinking about that all day. And this is where diets flourish, because diets actually make you focus on food, right? Because everything is about restricting. Everything is about not doing this and not doing that. Where there's resistance, you're creating more resistance. And it is about moving into ease and flow. Again, another thing that my clients work through with me. And in that resistance is where you're saying, I'm not going to think negative thoughts. All your brain hears is negative thoughts. I don't want to be poor. All your brain hears is poor, poverty. That's how it works, right? Yes, you do want to challenge negative thoughts, but what you really need to do, bring them up to the surface, uproot them, and replace them. Okay, so this is where what I do is a beliefs detox. I call it getting the junk out. And that is where you need to go in with a coach. You can't do it on your own. There is homework to do, but the coaching piece is important because we are objective, non-judgmental, and it's a skill set to be able to pull stuff out that you can't see, right? Because here's the deal. You know what you know. You know what you don't know, but you don't know what you don't know. Like, what the heck is Karen talking about? Let me explain. You know what you know. I know how to drive a car, for example. Okay. I know what I don't know. I don't know how to fly a plane. Okay. But you don't know what you don't know. And then most people go, I don't know what you mean. Exactly. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know. That's the blind spot. That is what a coach is able to look back here and see your blind spots, because we can't be objective with self. Oftentimes, I'll hear women say, well, that's just the way I am. You don't know what you don't know. You separate yourself out from the belief, from the habit, from the pattern, the conditioning. And we have taken stuff on unconsciously. So in a beliefs detox, it is about doing an exercise, and it takes time and takes patience, but all of a sudden the stuff floats up, and it doesn't just happen all at once, because as you move through and go deeper into the work, more stuff floats up. It's supposed to, and it floats up, and then you can go, oh, seriously? I didn't know that about me. I didn't know I had that deep down. Then what you do is you don't want it stirring on the surface, because what will it do if you don't transcend it? It goes back down, right? It's like, I'll stuff it down again. That's what the brain does, guys. The brain is just doing what it's supposed to do. We have to override it. We're updating the operating system. And so then we take that and we look at it in its truth, right? So I always say a good coach is a mirror that allows the truth to come up to the mirror. And then it's on the client to say if she wants to change it or not. Not everybody does. Some people want to stuff it back down. I don't want to look at it. The problem is, even if you don't look at it, it's still operating in your life. It's just the way it is, right? In other ways, but it will find its exit in a relationship, in your relationship with money, in your career, whatever, right? So you want to challenge your negative thoughts. Thank you, Dr. Google, but you also need to change them. And that's where we need a higher level thought leader or somebody that we can work with in order to do it, because it's really hard to do it on your own. Because most people say, I'm just not going to think that. I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not going to eat that. It doesn't work, right? Because there's that resistance. Number 4, visualize success. Okay, yeah, sure. And we were talking about this when we were talking in number 1, when we say set big goals. So visualize success is really key. And if I can add some fuel to that, I call it walking as if. And I learned this one probably 30 years ago. What I didn't realize was a lot of what I learned in all of my challenges and trials and errors when I went into this personal development work of mine like 30 years ago, which I've been dedicated to ever since, because it never ends, guys. You don't get to arrive. I mean, you could, but when you arrive and say, I'm done, you stop growing. And life is all about growth and just gets better and better. But when you walk as if, it is where you're walking as if you have already attained that. And it gets into your cells. This is a quantum theory, which I had no idea what I was doing eons ago, but there's so much written about the quantum theory because thoughts are things, and there are waves and particles, and I can't really get into the science of it because it actually is a little bit far beyond me, but maybe some of you science geeks know what I'm talking about, string theory and all that stuff. And it is where the particles collide, but they're not in a straight line. They're malleable. So they change according to our thought processes and what frequency we're putting out there. That is huge. That's a huge finding in the science field. But even scientists with their white coats and their little pads and papers, I make fun of you guys, but I love you because we need science. However, sometimes it can be very restrictive and very linear. And we need to take the blinders off sometimes. And so this has allowed science to expand its vision of the possibility of where we're actually living with a different expanded definition of potential and possibilities. And thoughts are things, right? And that's why this whole mindset piece is so important. So walking as if says, who am I when I've already received that? That is also how you build confidence, because you are confidently walking along as if I envisioned this business. I envisioned my home. I envisioned my husband. I did a whole process that I went through, and I even wrote it down. I still have that journal from 25 years ago. And I read it out at our wedding. Everything that I wanted in a husband, right down to the color of his hair, the work that he did, that he had to have dogs, like all that stuff. And 6 months later, he walked into my life, but I kept the vision. I walked as if he was already coming my way. And I was just going to meet him on the road. That's what happened. So visualize it, but you also have to feel it. Again, there's that F word that some people don't like, the feeling word. Number 5, read others' success stories. Yeah, I totally agree with this. So it's different now because there's so much out there that you can look at. Influencers, although I'd be careful with those because a lot of them aren't real and they're like 20 years old, ladies. Um, bodies are different at 20, even at 30. So when we're reading others people's success stories, and I like to read, yes, there's podcasts, yes, there's YouTube videos, but reading requires focus. It requires diligence. It requires you put everything away and you actually have to work at reading sometimes. And I have a lot of books on my shelf. I'm looking at them now. I've got about 30 books that I've had for over 30 years, the same ones. And I keep opening them and seeing fresh stuff, because as you learn and grow, you see new stuff. Or I'll look at stuff that I highlighted, like 15 years ago and go, oh man, that's where I was 15 years ago. I'm way beyond that. I got that one. So that's the beauty of when you read, is you get to have a biomarker of your growth along the way if you're a highlighter, which I am. And I know book enthusiasts are kind of like pulling their hair out right now. And so does my husband, because I dog ear and I highlight and all that stuff. That's just my way. But reading other people's success, and in my day, in the 80s and 90s, when I was doing starting into bodybuilding and starting to do shows, all we had were magazines. There was barely any TV where I lived. There was certainly no cell phones. And we had Muscle and Fitness, and we had Flex, and we had, Shape wasn't around then. I can't remember the other one, but every month I would stand waiting in the grocery store for the next issue to come out, and I would grab it. And that was my fuel. Going to shows was my fuel. So when we read other people's success and see how they have attained what you want to attain and what they've overcome, huge fuel, guys. So that also builds confidence, because you see, well, that person didn't start out with any specific benefit to her life. She overcame a lot of stuff. Or in bodybuilding, maybe her genetics weren't like top of the game. So it's always great to read other people's success, because when you see that, you see them building their confidence, and it makes you feel confident about your path, right? Next one, to build confidence, prepare thoroughly. This is a big one, and I am a big believer in this. 6 years of university, um, two programs, a degree and a certificate, a diploma, and I had to work my buns off because I'm not a natural student. And what I had to do was I had to prepare thoroughly, and I had my sticky notes and I had my, little things on little recipe cards. And, or if I was doing a public speaking event, I'm always constantly going over it and I'm speaking it out, pretending like I am in front of an audience. So the more you can make it real, even in bodybuilding, I was doing my posing in my living room for months before the show. It's really important that you prepare, because when you prepare, it is building confidence that you are prepared. And I remember my first show when I went out on stage, somebody said to me, "It's your first show? Wow, you look like you're so confident. How did you get there?" And I said, "I've done it 1,000 times at home. I've done it 1,000 times in my head." That is how you build confidence, by being prepared. Now, when I was in university, I was a mature student, meaning I went back in my early 30s, and there were a bunch of kids that went right from high school into university. God bless them. That wasn't my path. I sure as heck would not be ready for university at 18. No way. Um, but those kids didn't fare as well when it came to exams or presentations, because they were doing what 18-year-olds do. They were partying, they were staying up all night, and they didn't have that work ethic because they just chose to be in this small group, and they were the fun people in class for sure. And then there were us, mature people over 30 over here. And I always said, those mature students, they really do the work because we're usually paying for our own education, but we've also gone through life and messed up a bunch. And it's, it's just a skill. It's a habit. I'm not saying all 18-year-olds are like flippant and not focused and party all the time. I was, but not everybody is. But in my experience, it was the mature students that were always prepped, and we would study together like weeks out from an exam or a presentation. We never saw the other guys. I think we're a little bit envious, but it showed up when it came to exam day and presentation day. So you definitely have to practice over and over again and prepare thoroughly before you embark on anything. And that is how you feel competent. That's how you feel like a mature adult, right? So in a body transformation program, this is where we learn. If you've got a coach, then you learn about macros, you learn about timing, you learn about portions, you learn about training protocols, different exercise sequencing, reps and sets, different protocols, the strip sets or giant sets or the pyramids or whatever you're putting in. So I'm always big about trying to teach my clients these things, because eventually I want them to fly on their own. I don't want them to be coached by me forever. The whole role is to initiate in them the learning and the power so that they can then carry it for themselves. That's what a good coach does. But a lot of people, no, I wouldn't say a lot, but some people that I've coached need to always have a coach there. And because they don't feel they're prepped enough, or they're getting their info from an external source, a coach or a trainer or whatever. And it's fine for a while, but I want my clients to be able to bring it in so that they can manage it from their own place. And that is building huge confidence, guys. When I go out on stage, I know that I've done everything possible to get to the best of my shape in the healthiest way, of course, because I've never done anything other than training, quality food, hydration, and sleep. Rinse and repeat for years. That's the way I've done it. And I'm proud of myself going out on stage because I do it organically, but I also do it and I'm very prepared. And that builds confidence when you walk out knowing you've dotted every I and crossed every T to get what you're moving towards, right? Oh, this is an obvious one. Take action. What did they say? Oh, this is Chat GPT. Procrastination, overthinking, can it erode confidence? Yes, absolutely, it can. So action is the biggest piece that I'm always nudging my clients towards, because we learn a lot, we coach a lot, and there's a lot of stuff that is allowing them to be able to move into their best self. But The action piece is often where I'll hear people go, well, yeah, I know that. I remember that in module 7, or yeah, I remember you teaching that. But are you moving into action? Well, no, I'm busy. Well, life happened. Well, okay. So sometimes life happens. I get that. But the action piece is where the lesson gets into your body at a cellular level. That is how habits are formed. We don't want a procrastination habit. And if you are procrastinating, or if you are, you know, waiting to get ready, which a lot of people are doing, that is a habit that you can break. But you always need to replace it. Like I said earlier, you can't just not. Well, you can, but it's going to be tough. I don't want to look at that. 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 I don't want to look. It doesn't work. So you replace it. This is the transcending versus the tolerating, right? And so the successful people know that you have to move into action. And that's the scary part for some people. For some women, it's enough just to get them into a public gym if they're on one of my programs. That is a huge thing. That's moving into action. Or moving into action when you've fallen away and you've been away for a couple of weeks. What's the action piece? You got to get your butt back in there. You got to get back on your food plan. And that's where a lot of people stumble and they stay in that procrastination habit. That's just a habit. That's their default setting. So this is also about changing your default setting, guys, right? Because we all have a default setting. Is it some women isolate, some women hide away, some women go into anger, some people go into blaming, some people go into procrastination, or they go into fear. They go into a fear of failure. Well, what if I fail again? There's no failure. Failure is feedback, but you need to redefine it that way for yourself, or a good coach. That's what coaching is all about. It is in the reframe when you fail or feel you failed, or you've lost motivation, or you can't get your butt in gear. Guys, that is when coaching matters. And I know coaches watching this know this, and I know they're applauding me big time, because that is when the poop hits the fan. That is when you need to go in and reframe so that you have a different meaning moving forward. There's a fear of failure. There's a fear of success. There's a fear of what other people will think. There's a fear of not being good enough, being unworthy. And there's a fear of what I have to let go of. Well, I have to let go of if I go into a body transformation program, do I have to let go of all my good foods? I have to let go of my Friday outings. I won't have any fun. It's going to be a prison. You're going to make me live a terrible life. Really? That's not how I live. It's not how I think. It's the brain making those stories up, and you are fueling those prison stories. Okay. So it's really important. Again, there's an action piece. What am I thinking? And what's the action? I need to create something fresh here. How do you do it? You move into momentum, guys. Okay. There's a saying in success: ready, fire, aim. And I love that. Right. What it means is successful people don't sit and wait for the perfect time. They don't sit and wait for a guarantee. They have to move into momentum. It means making a decision. Even if it doesn't work out to be the best decision, it is momentum, right? And you need momentum, right? So a rolling stone gathers no moss. So you need momentum, because when you're in momentum is when all of the opportunities come to you. It's not when you're sitting still in procrastination or fear or wonderment or what if. It doesn't create any. It's like when you're momentum, you're like this ball of Velcro and things come and stick to you. All the opportunities come to you. That is what those of us who are addicted to success. No, it doesn't mean that we're not scared sometimes. It doesn't mean sometimes I go, oh, shit, I don't want to do this right now. And I might put it off for a bit, but I know if I'm putting it off, I know that feeling in my gut that says you actually should be doing this. And you guys know it too. You actually should be doing that. Then I'm like, I got to do it. Because if I don't do it, it's forever going to sit there and fester, right? Or I'm going to be hearing myself making excuses, which I used to do years ago, or saying, well, life is hard, or that's not me, or whatever. And it would keep me away from my goals. And I had to decide, what is it that I want and what's the action I need to take? Every day I wake up and I I declare to myself how I'm going to eat. I always start with the same breakfast. I have my macros in place. I know what my food is. Yes, there is variety in it, but I still manage my meals, timing, macros, and portions. If you haven't seen that video, it's one of my most popular videos, the 4 food rules, really important, guys. And I just stay with it. And I also focus on how am I moving my body today, right? So those are the action pieces that I take. And the action pieces are, if you fall away, that is actually when you need to go back, because what muscle are you strengthening? You're strengthening the inner muscles that we talked about. Discipline, commitment, courage, building confidence in yourself, in your ability to take action, in your desire to get what you want, right? Success leaves clues. Look for successful people and see how they think and how they operate. Most of not, they're not born into success. And success is not about monetary value or your societal position, right? Some people think it is. That's not my definition. Success is what you're dreaming of and how you're moving into it each and every day. And even when you're afraid, especially when you're afraid, because that's how you build your courage muscle. You see? And then finally, practice assertiveness. And so this is, again, how we build confidence as we speak our truth, the 5th chakra. Really, really important. Okay. Stand up for yourself, speak your truth, do it kindly, and don't speak your truth or don't knock somebody else down in order to prop you up. No, 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 no. That's not empowerment. That's power over. And there's a lot of our elected officials, there's a lot of politicians, there's a lot of people in power that do that. It's a form of manipulation. You are here to speak your truth, to say, no, that doesn't suit me right now. Thank you very much, but no. And this is even for women who are scared of saying no to somebody. I have one woman who is visiting her mother, and she's afraid to tell her mother, I don't want to eat the chocolate cake every night, or I would like some veggies and I'd like to add more protein to my food. And she's nervous because this is what happens, guys. A lot of us fear they're going to feel rejected. Might even be true that some people or family members may feel rejected because we're rejecting their food. We're not. We're speaking our truth, but we're doing it with love and saying, you know what? I have different goals right now. My goals are a little bit different. So I'm just not going to have the chocolate cake, but I would love to have more of your couscous salad or whatever it happens to be. Speaking your truth is really important for building your confidence. And a lot of women dull their voice because we're taught that way. We're taught to be people pleasers. We're taught to put other people first. When other people are doing good, then we can say we're doing good. Or when the external circumstances are good, then we can say we're good. No, what happens out there has nothing, has no call on our level of happiness, our level of truth, our confidence, and our self-assuredness. Nothing. That is what we must build from within. And finally, walk with confidence, guys. Okay. You ever seen a woman who bought a new pair of shoes and how she walks? She's strutting, man. I know. I mean, I don't wear high heels anymore, but when I did, and I had to dress up for work, and I would walk into the office in my blazer and my heels, you bet, I felt good. And that is a confidence boost. And so, if it means going out and buying a new pair of shoes or a new blazer or whatever, do it. That builds confidence. So again, confidence to me is intoxicating. When other people have it, I look at them and I want to be around confident people. Now, if you're feeling not confident when you're around confident people, it's just because you're looking at them like they're better than you or how did they do it? We're all level here, guys. We're all on the same earth. We're all here to learn the same stuff, different ways. We're all at different levels of experience. But I encourage you to hang around and make your ecosystem other people who are embodying what you want, those inner values of confidence, of self-esteem, worthiness. And don't feel nervous around them, just soak it up like a sponge. But here's what I want you to know. You can have that too. It's all inside. You don't have to go looking for it. You just have to, you know, take off the layers and really look at who you are as a soul, as a spirit, as a woman on this planet, and recognize that energy and that choice is available to everybody. Yes, we have to build those inner value systems because in a lot of us, they're asleep or they haven't been brought into fruition. A lot of this is not taught in schools. It's not even taught in our families, unfortunately. If we don't have an ecosystem, what we're reading, what we're listening to, the people that we hang with, our friends, if we don't have that around us, we are defined by the people and the energy we hang in. Okay. So this is where I'm always saying to my clients, you know, you got to be on the coaching calls. You got to be in the group. You got to be there because we're all doing the same thing. And the world out there is not set up for success, guys. It's really not. You have to go find those little pockets of successful people doing successful things, and then you hang with them. And I've had mentors in my world for years, and I've had some mentors for over 20 years because they're people I want to hang with. I like being in their company. They're doing cool stuff and they are kind and loving and confident and successful in my definition of success. And they love their life and they love their people. That's who I hang with. And I find that when I'm in the majority, or sometimes when I'm watching the news, I'm like, I don't want to take it. I don't want to hear about it. Doesn't mean I'm living blindly. We know what's happening in the world. I don't have to sit in front of the TV and watch CNN or Fox or whatever is your thing. I don't care for 3 hours in order to know. There was a study that went out when COVID hit, and there were three kinds of people. There were the people that were all doomsday, the world's going to end. There were people that were ostriches that put their head in the sand and said, "Oh my God, just wake me when it's over." And I had a lot of women that actually hid out in their bedrooms and ate, right? And they gained a ton of weight because they were just fearful of everything happening and they watched the news. And then the third one was the people that said, okay, this is happening. I don't need to go down that path. I can still stay on my path or create another path that allows me to continue on in my success model. When COVID hit, and I'm in fitness and wellness, I was bringing out my program that I'd been running for years, and I was bringing it out expanded. It's a 16-week program when COVID hit. And I'm like, oh, I was so busy, I couldn't watch the news. I wasn't really hearing. I knew what was happening in the world because everybody knew, but I wasn't glued to the TV. I was doing 3 or 4 calls a day. And I was also calling my women saying, you need to get on my program. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. The gyms are closing. Right. Exactly. That's why you need to be on the program because you need to stay focused. You need to support your health, your mental health, as well as your physical, which is a huge part of what I do. And I had some women that went, no, 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 I can't right now. I can't think about it. Right. Because the sky's falling. I'm going to go watch the sky fall and join everybody watching the sky fall. Or I had women going, I need your program. I need your guidance. I need to stay on track. I need the weekly calls. I need the check-ins. I need to support my brain and my body and my health and my food at this moment. Exactly. And some of those women are still with me because they've created a new way of living and seeing and showing up in the world. And the other ones, some came back and they were tough to coach because they were in a place where they didn't confidently go out and say, I can master this regardless of what's happening in the world. I'm going to live my truth and I'm going to stay strong and healthy. They fell away. And now they're still, some of them are still trying to pick themselves up from that habit, right? Of when things hit the fan, I go with it. No, you don't have to. This is where we need to create new muscle, guys. This is the mindset piece. This is 80% of what I do. You have to have a strong, powerful default setting, and you have to nurture that and nourish it every day. And that includes moving your body and feeding it well, because this vessel is what takes us through this life. And this vessel is important. And if we don't have this working, no matter how much money or how much prestige or what position we have, it doesn't matter. So I'm very big. People think I'm just a weight loss coach, but I am about honoring the body. And as it ages, women over 40, you know this, I'm way over 40, but it started to change in my 40s. Things change in the body. We have to change with it. We have to learn a new way, a new definition, a new way of eating, a new way of looking at food, a new way of looking at how to keep our body strong, our immune system strong, how to stay lean, how to stay flexible, and how to make it so that this becomes our lifestyle. That's why I called my program the Mastery Lifestyle Program for Women. Getting there is one thing, getting into a great body transformation is one thing, but staying there and making it your path, your journey with love and self care, not beating yourself up, and transcending your belief system and your self identities to support a higher level of living physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So that is the holistic approach to aging, guys. But it has to be rooted in proper movement and proper food management, because that is what feeds our body. And this body is what takes us through life, because we want to be there for our grandchildren. We want to be able to travel healthy. We want to be able to climb 3 sets of stairs if we need to. We want to be able to hike mountains. We want to be able to not have the aches and pains of aging, right? So know you have everything inside of you. And confidence, the confidence piece is knowing that you can, even if you don't feel it. It's when you don't feel it, is when you need to override it with a lot of the stuff that I mentioned here. So hopefully you took pen to paper. And just know that confidence is definitely a value and a skill set that you develop along the way as you traverse, as you trip, as you hit speed bumps in life and in your body transformation, where maybe you've been doing dieting for 20 years. Okay, that's fine. So now you can have the confidence to say, that didn't work for 20 years, and don't beat yourself up. It just didn't, but close that door and look for something fresh. Find yourself a coach, find yourself a program that are doing differently, guys. It's not about working harder, especially if you're 40, 50, 60 plus. The body doesn't want hard. It's going to resist. It wants different. It wants it to come from a place of real care and a place of building your emotional and mental and spiritual world to support your physical body and your beliefs and your self-identity. That is the holistic approach to creating an amazing body and life transformation after 40. So I hope that this was beneficial to you guys. Confidence rocks, guys. And when you feel it, you know it. And so you can always click into those times when you felt confident, when you did something and you went, yeah, I did that. I mastered that. That's where I want you guys to go to remember. I did it then. You can do it again. And all you have to do is grab that and remember the feeling of it. And then you start bringing that into the little things in your life. Be daring enough to step into the gym. Be daring enough to say, I might invest in a coach this year instead of following YouTube or the influencers or whatever. I want to mentor up, right? Or grab a partner and get outside and do your hiking and stuff together. Look at your food plan. Decide that you want to stop the noise. Oh my gosh, there's so much noise out there. Every day I talk to info junkies, as I call you. And I love you, info junkies, because you're really trying hard. Information is not transformation. Sometimes you just have to stop the noise and you have to put away all that stuff that you think you know, and you got to drain your brain, right? This is where in one of my classes, I teach empty the cup. You got to empty your cup. You must surrender to a new way. Because if you surrender part way, and it's like, well, it's not moving fast enough. Well, I don't see results fast enough. And then you start doing another Google search, or you start doing another this or another that. And I know when my clients are doing it and I call them on it and I go, get back here. What are you doing? Well, I don't see the results. How long you been here? 3 weeks. Okay. How long were you living over there? 30 years. Okay. Can we look at the truth of this? What muscle are you being asked to use here? Patience, perhaps? Trust, right? All of that stuff, consistency. And that is where having somebody to be accountable to is super important, really important. So I hope this was beneficial to you guys. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, you have everything inside of you. Work that confidence muscle, because confidence is sexy. It's strength, it's power, it's longevity, and it is yours. It is yours to own and deserve. Absolutely. Okay. I'd love to hear your comments below. Okay, guys, have a great day. Ciao.